Okay, so let's see where I left off. So I matched with said person on a dating app, okay? And I had originally had plans that day for another date, but those plans had fell through. So me and this person connected on a dating app, and he was like, "What are you doing today?" I was like, "Okay, you want to know what I'm doing today?" Well, actually, nothing, because I had plans and they actually fell through. Oh, okay. He didn't live far, so he was like, "Well, let's meet at Chili's." So we meet at Chili's. Um, Once I get there, I give him a hug and introduce myself, say hello. We start making small talk. We end up realizing we have a mutual friend in common, and which is cool. We both went to HBCUs, which is great. The person we know in common is a great person and has known me since I was a teenager, since I was in high school. So this guy's older than me, a little bit older than me or whatever. But, okay, cool. Like, so we're off to a good start, presumably. Still willing just to get to know him. While we're on the date, my goddaughter calls me. She FaceTime me, which she normally doesn't FaceTime me. She'll normally just call me. So he was like, "Shouldn't you get that?" And I was like, "Actually, I should." So I put my earbuds in. As soon as I answer the phone, the call, I see something's wrong. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" I mean, immediately she begins crying, and she proceeds to tell me that her classmate committed suicide. So, heartbreak instantly. So I asked her, of course, like, "Do you want me to pray for you?" So she says, yes. So I excuse myself from the table, leave, go pray for her. As soon as I come back, his energy towards me is completely different. And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm glad you told me how you are." How am I? How am I? "Oh, you're a Proverbs 31 woman, a virtuous woman." But now all his energy changes, and he just wants to talk to me how Jesus talked to the disciples in parables in scripture. That said, he no longer wants to talk to me about dating, and we just met on a dating app, and we're on a date. Okay? Okay, so I have some talking points, okay? Because this is a lot. I'm going to try to fit it all in. And I apologize that it's taking me so long. Anyway, so we get back home, like, safely after the date. And so once I get back to the table, he was like, "I'm glad you told me." Oh, yeah, I told you that. How you are, how am I, right? Okay, so you're a Proverbs 31 woman, a virtuous woman, which I will receive. I am all these things. But yeah, so no relationship talk. Bro, we met on a date night. Okay. Then he proceeds to call himself a heathen. When people tell you who they are, believe them. So he called himself a heathen, y'all, like at least like 5 times. So I'm like, okay, so maybe you really are heathen. And I don't really know what that means. Like, I know what that means, but in context, like, what do you mean? But he kept calling himself a heathen. So now I'm paying attention. So no relationship talk. So like I'm trying to make small talk. He's like, "Only talk scripture." Who only talks in scripture? Nobody. Nobody. Nobody just talks in scripture. Hmm? Not even just Jesus. Now Jesus talked in parables. Or maybe Jesus. Jesus still has small talk. Okay? Nobody just only talks in scripture. Nobody. I definitely don't. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. Yes, I talk about scripture. I talk about God. I love the Lord, but I talk about other things too. So he just wants to talk scripture. Okay, fine. So I continued, like, ask questions like, "Oh, I remember he had mentioned like his son during the date." But then, like, when we were texting, he mentioned children. "Oh, how many other children do you have?" That's not scripture. Then it's like, bro, like, you're not my dad. Like, you can't. The energy was like very annoying. It was like you're trying to dictate the tempo and just talk scripture. I don't want to just talk scripture. Okay. So then he was like, "Can I pray for you?" He says a little prayer. I'm sorry, my nose is itching, my allergies. So, all right, let's just fast forward. to early the next day. So during the date, he had asked what church I went to or whatever at the time when I thought it was safe. I gave him the church address. So he wants to come to church. So he texted me saying he's coming to church. Cool. And he was like, if I come, I promise not to bother you. Okay. I mean, I don't really know what to say to that. But okay. I knew I was going to be serving anyway. So he comes to. So during service, he begins to text me. So he's texting me. He was like, oh, the only person I could probably measure up to you is a minister or a pastor. Because again, he just has this complete perceived notion of me because I went to pray for my goddaughter. He never really asked me like in confines as far as what was going on with me and what being saved to me means. But he just has this idea. Okay. So, well, the only person I can measure up to you is a minister or a pastor. Huh? Okay. So, bruh, clearly, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody begging. Like, you don't want to date me. Like, that's just how I feel, right? So, and that's okay, right? Because everybody's not going to be a match, and that's fine. So, just let me go. But it was weird. It was like he wanted to have this grip on me, and he felt like the way to keep me near is to have a form of godliness, okay? And to have a form of godliness, and let's just talk scripture. So anyway, let's fast forward to, he's like, oh, so is your pastor, is he married? No, my pastor's divorced. Your pastor's your husband. What? Who told you that? Because it wasn't God. Because my pastor ain't my husband. My pastor ain't my husband. Again, my pastor is not my husband. What voices you listening to, bruh? Because I know this for a fact. How do you know? Because I know. How do you know? You know, there's life and death in the power of the tongue. You know scripture now. So do Satan. No, sir. But there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And where's your faith? I'm telling you, your pastor's your husband. No, he ain't. So now I'm irritated. At this point. So church was really, 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 really good. We were in there like just praising God. The spirit was high. And there's a part where pastor is talking about the subject was sexual immorality, having sex before marriage. But then there was a part where pastor had fast forwarded to when you're married and wives, when you're married, your body's not your own, right? And so he's texting me, do you believe that? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, wow. Yeah, man, I would love to hold hands in church with my lady. I'm like, yeah, that'd be dope. You can't do that. So because I'm saved, I can't hold hands with my man in church? Okay. Whatever you say. So, yeah. Oh, wow. You really believe that? Like, wow. So he's like totally fixated on that part. Like, yeah, I believe that. If I'm married and if we're in the middle of an argument, something like that, and let's say in the middle of that, my husband, wants to be intimate. Like, I'm not going to deny my husband. So then he was like, your pastor's talking to you. You hear him? He's talking to you. Nah, he ain't talking to me. So there's a part where this, again, church was really good. The spirit was really high. And there's a part, right, y'all, where my pastor, just like many of us, have spiritual gifts. So one of my pastor's spiritual gifts is the prophetic. So my pastor begins to flow in the prophetic. And I look up on said person's row, and he gone. My pastor was prophesying to a lady on his row. I look up, he's gone. So I text him, like, after church or whatever. And I'm like, oh, like, you left? And he was like, yeah, I had to go. But, y'all, let me tell y'all what I think happened. What I think happened is that he didn't want my pastor to prophesy to him and read them. So that's just what I believe. But so after that, he calls me that night. He just once again talks scripture. So I'm so nice. Why am I like this? He wants to discuss some scripture. So we're discussing some scripture or whatever. But my spirit begins to be like bothered and irritated by him, right? Because he just wants to talk scripture. Like, we met on a dating app. I'm being very intentional about dating. and I want my dating to lead to marriage, which you told me basically you don't want to talk any dating questions. So why are you trying to still keep me around, bruh? Like, what do we have anything to talk about? So again, I'm gonna be wise and I'm gonna seek counsel and this ex men, right? Because I'm not a woman, so I needed a men's perspective. So I spoke to a couple men, just two that I trusted, and their advice to me was to cut him off. So I did just that. He went to call me the next day, like in the morning, and good morning. And so I was like, listen, I'm being very intentional. I'm about dating. We met on a dating app. I want to date, and I want my dating to lead to marriage. And so since you don't want to talk about anything about dating and only talk scripture, I think it's best that we don't communicate. He calls me immediately after I sent the text. Didn't I just say, I don't think we should continue to communicate? And so I meant that. And I blocked him. And I've had peace since. And y'all, believe it or not, this is the shortened version, but his response was like, okay, dang. So y'all tell me what y'all think, right? Please like put in the comments or let me know what y'all think. So the advice that I got from the two men that I asked is that they believe that he was just trying to maybe manipulate the situation. He never even bothered to have a conversation with me to see what my boundaries were. No, and he just had this preconceived notion of me, of what I was, of who I was, right? Instead of just communicating with me. But he felt like his end was to talk about scripture and just talk about scripture. And then he was going to try to manipulate that in some type of way. What do y'all think? But I just know the energy just got really weird. And it was just kind of disheartening because I thought he was a really nice person, and I thought he was kind of cool, but he immediately just didn't even like give me a chance as far as dating was concerned because of who he thought I was, right? And guess what, it's all good. Like, I'm not mad. It's cool. Like, everybody you meet on a dating app is not going to be a complete match, so just let me go. But he was trying to stick around. I don't know what that was about. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Cousins? Tell me. Sorry this took so long, but I had a lot going on. But I didn't want to forget y'all. All right, so I hope y'all enjoying your day, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.